everybody. It's Sophie and Marco dish out on the movies and other things. I just want to clear up from the last review when we did Doctor Strange. Karen Gillan co-starred with John
You mean
Cho.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, but we just did the. I mentioned. I think I mentioned Karen Gillan. I don't know. I just mentioned her. I mentioned her when
Yeah,
we did.
because she's in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, Marco. Karen Gillan co-starred with John Cho from the Star Trek movie series in a short-lived TV show that I really, really liked called Selfie. So, I mean, it was only, I don't even think it got a whole run of shows. But I really liked it. I even signed a petition to keep it going. But I guess it was for their benefit because they have moved on to bigger and better things.
So which do you like more? Selfie or Grimm?
Oh, well, the Grimm was on 5 years. So.
Oh.
Anyway, her latest blockbuster movie is Jumanji, which I haven't seen yet. So today, I see, today the movie we are reviewing is Doctor Strange. You're right, it was Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. Doctor Strange premiered in 2016 and starred Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. The title itself sounded weird to me. A doctor who calls himself a doctor, an academic PhD, a medical doctor, and Strange, a real person by the name of Strange. As you can tell, I still do not read comic books, but quickly learned Doctor Strange is a typical doctor who possesses a massive ego and works as a neurosurgeon. He thinks he is God. He's rich and loves wearing expensive watches and driving a very expensive car. But I get ahead of myself when the movie opens with Mads Mikkelsen doing all kinds of magical manipulations with his hands and tears a couple of pages out of a special book. Of course, he has to be the villain because all I can think of is Hannibal from the TV series, and how villainous was he? So there's a lot of fighting and deconstructing computer work of the floor, the ground, the sky, buildings, everything manipulated, shapes, twisted, turned. Mads is beating everyone up except when a gold-robed and hooded figure shows up. I think it's a woman, a little skinny thing, who is the only one to hold off Mads Mikkelsen for now. Tilda Swinton is apparently the little skinny girl who is wearing that golden cape and possesses many powers because she is the Ancient One, or Sorceress Supreme. Let's return to Doctor Strange. He is doing a surgery thing while listening to music and finds out another doctor surgeon doesn't think his patient is savable. So after saving his own patient, Doctor Strange steps in to extract a bullet from the other doctor's patient. And voila! He gets it, and all is perfect because Doctor Strange is perfect, right? He has a date with his girlfriend, another medical professional, played by Rachel McAdams. He rushes home to his perfect apartment where he selects a watch from his bevy of carefully arranged watches, straps it on, and looks pretty snappy in his expensive suit. He jumps into his very expensive Lamborghini, Maserati. I have no idea, but it surely wasn't a VW. As he speeds down the street, he takes calls from his medical staff about which patient he should help next. While he is talking, he has a super major accident, and I mean really bad. He wakes up to machines, and the worst thing for a soldier to see are his hands, completely held together by pins and braces. Both hands, every finger. What a nightmare. Of course, recovery is super slow, and what is the saying? Doctors make the worst patients. He is being mean to his girlfriend. He looks terrible. It's a bad time. He complains to his physical therapist, who tells of another patient like him who complained like him and couldn't walk. That would be Mr. Benjamin Bratt, or Pangborn in the movie.
Benjamin Bratt. I
That's-
get it, because he's a brat.
That's his real name. Who went somewhere and returned completely healed. Of course, Doctor Strange has to visit Pangborn to find out what he needs to do to achieve the same goal. Apparently, he needs to go to Kathmandu, to a special place called Comertage, to find the Ancient One. Uh-oh, remember the Ancient One from the very beginning? The one with the gold robe, who's played by skinny little Tilda Swinton? I don't mean that in a bad way, because I'm just... Swinton, because Benedict Cumberbatch is a very tall guy, and Tilda Swinton is a very little skinny person, okay? But she's more powerful than she looks, at least in the movie. And she's a powerful actress too. She's really good. Anyway, Pangborn told Strange that since he had nothing left but his mind, he was going to use it to recover. So off to Comertage, Strange goes, still full of himself, until Tilda Swinton puts him in his place. There are lots of great quotes in this movie. Quote, surrender your ego and your power will rise, or what is real? At the root of existence there are worlds without end, worlds with malice and hunger. Then there are relics. Relics pick you, you don't pick the relic. Doctor Strange's relic is a magic red cape that picked him later and saved his life. Okay, maybe I better let Marco talk, but there's just a couple more things. Anyway, go ahead, Marco.
Of course, the trailer gave away this plot and more, so...
I never saw the trailer, so...
I saw all the trailers, and I thought I should have stopped after, like, the first one. Because they showed, like, the whole movie.
Really?
And there's really not a lot to this movie. It's really simple and basic. It's an origin story. It's a lot darker than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
And a lot more adult.
Yes, I agree.
At the same time, I think Guardians of the Galaxy had some better elements to it, but I still think that this movie's better as a whole because of the colors and the innovative, creative magic fighting instead of just the hand-to-hand fighting.
It's very creative.
The villain was kind of cool.
Well, the villain was really cool. I'm surprised you just say kind of. Marco's a big fan of Hannibal.
Well,
he's a big fan of Mads Mikkelsen.
You know Dormammu. Well, I thought, and everybody else thought, that Mads Mikkelsen was going to play Dormammu, and that he would be the villain of the movie. And instead, he plays this random Caecilius guy.
Oh, yeah, I've never even heard his name. That's why I keep saying Mads Mikkelsen.
And I really could care less about that guy. I think that Mads Mikkelsen should have played Dormammu, and that he would be the perfect arch nemesis for Benedict Cumberbatch. So, I think they kind of screwed up on the casting there. I think that the best thing about this movie is he goes through an arc.
Yes.
It's a character-based movie, whereas Guardians of the Galaxy is more of a plot-based movie.
Yeah, very good. You're right.
And also... Oh yeah, we want to talk about the casting. Because everybody complained that Tilda Swinton was cast as the Ancient One, because apparently in the comics, it's supposed to be an Asian man. But then guess what?
There was an Asian man in the movie, though.
Huh?
There was an Asian man in the movie.
Yeah,
Wong.
but there's also the ancient one's supposed to be an Asian man. So
Oh.
people complained about that. But then you have Baron Mordo, and he's Doctor Strange's arch nemesis, his real arch nemesis. Him and Dormammu are both, and he is supposed to be a white guy in the comics, and then they cast a black guy to play him in the movie. And nobody sees a problem with that, but they see a problem with Tilda Swinton playing the Ancient One. So that's
In other words, if they see a problem with one, they should have had a problem with the other.
yeah,
So what are they? So really, you can't
really
give him any,
hypocritical.
and you can't give him any credibility.
Yeah, because I think, I think that Tilda Swinton did fine.
Oh, she did great.
I mean,
She convinced me. Now I wonder if she knows how to do those. She must have gotten a lot of fight lessons.
I could have done with what the comics had. But at the same time, I care more about Baron Mordo because that character, the actor in this movie, he's really dull, and he's really like lifeless, and every time he talks, he doesn't really exude any sort of personality, and so it's obvious that they should have gotten somebody who actually looks like him and a better actor to play him. Because if it was a good actor, then at least I could have overlooked it, like 0.5% overlooked it. But since he's not a great actor in this movie, I can't overlook it. So that's my biggest problem with this movie, is the horrible casting of that character.
Well, my biggest problem with the movie, if you just want to talk about the problem, was the sound.
Yeah, the sound's bad too.
And I don't know if it's the copy of the movie we were watching or what, but the people talk very low, and that's why, I mean, on something like this, when you have people's names, I mean, the Ancient One, that's not hard to mess up, but if they've got some complicated name and they're talking really low, I can't hear it. I haven't read the comic book. I mean, you've got to, if you're going to make a movie, you can't just make it for people who know the comic books. You know, people who made the Harry Potter movies, I don't think they just made it for people who read the Harry Potter books.
Well, the Harry Potter movies have better sound quality.
Well, that's true, but
sure.
all I'm saying is that I don't know how all that works with movie making. Marco's knows better than me.
Here's
but the music was like the talking was
the music.
Talking was very low.
The music sucked.
The music I don't get. I mean, it was
really
like
generic.
Really loud. It wasn't special, and it was very deconstructed. And I say that because there's so much of that word is like I would say it's a trending word. It's the word of today.
It's your
because
trending
you get
word.
You get it in food. Like people make deconstructed dishes, which is unbelievable.
Gross.
Then you have deconstructed clothes. That's the example of that is the jeans that you buy. They have rips all over, and you pay an enormous amount of money, which I'm never going to do, on torn up jeans. And where are you going to wear that? And people look at you like you're dumb. And so anyway, the movie, the sound, and I played in an orchestra. I played in a high school orchestra. I went to contests. I played in a college orchestra. And I kind of like regular music, which isn't deconstructed.
I've played songs in band that were more exciting than this soundtrack.
And, you know, you think about other movies, like Chariots of Fire, or, God, there's so many, even Titanic. You know, you remember that, well, Titanic.
Chariots of Fire wasn't that good.
But you remember the music, and think about all the musicals with Rodgers and Hammerstein. But just
the producers, Springtime for Hitler.
Well, whatever, some of these orchestral pieces,
Twin Peaks,
like what Marco's talking about, there's something about them you'll always remember. This movie, if I heard that music, I wouldn't even
I
know it
would
was
be
from
like,
the movie. I'm like, I don't know what
God,
that's from.
do I have to listen to this? Like, can't I listen to something that's good?
It just, but it wasn't just it was the sound quality. When people talk, which you want to hear what they're saying because it's kind of important to know
Well,
who they are and the
I've
plot.
actually
You couldn't hear them.
I've experienced this before with other Marvel movies because we watched Guardians of the Galaxy on the TV screen, and I thought the same thing, that the sound of the people's voices are really low, the effects in the music really high, and
That's just
it's
ridiculous.
really annoying.
That's called
And
imbalance.
what I think is uh maybe they think that kids don't even care about the dialogue, or maybe they got microphones for the actors that are more that pick up better sound quality, so the quality of the sound is really good, but they're not loud. Whereas other movies, they're louder voices, maybe the sound quality is a little lesser, but it's better if you're louder.
Well,
So
I think when you write a book or a story, you have an introduction and you have a couple of things that lead up to a point. What is it called? The climax, or in a when you play a musical piece, you have a thing called the crescendo, which is it's like a sideways V that it starts small, at the top of it, like the top of a triangle, and then it goes out wide, and as it moves out wide, it gets louder
people
and
know
louder.
what a crescendo is.
Well, I don't think so.
Uh,
And then you go up and you're in the climax, and then it goes down with a decrescendo, which is the big part of the triangle, going down to the smallest
people
part.
know what those things are.
Not everybody, but anyway, you have to have some balance, and there's no balance between the people's voices in the movie, which is like, can hardly hear it.
No, it's lower than that, especially
And
that
the music that accompanies the fighting
that Tilda Swinton.
and the special special events that are and it's almost like you can't even it's like somebody throws a pie in your face. That's what it's like. When here you are, you've got for instance Benedict Cumberbatch. I said he gets in a terrible accident. You see the car flipping in the air, and I mean, it's going to be really bad because he was a bad boy. He wasn't paying attention. He was too busy thinking about who he could save next, so he could show everybody what a marvelous doctor he is. And to just tell you, I've worked for a whole bunch of doctors in a medical school. I won't say where, and I kind of know how it is. So it's nothing against them. It's just the way they're
Yeah, what
taught.
about the good doctor? Are you criticizing the good doctor?
No, there
now?
are good doctors that are nice, but
Freddie Highmore.
They spoil them in the in medical school at the beginning. They treat them like they're just perfect when they haven't even learned everything they're supposed to learn yet. I've seen it, so I know. Anyway, moving away from that, I just wanted to say, I talked about, there's a lot of different objects in the movies. There's not a lot of them, but the ones they have are very important to the facilitation of the story, the movement of the story and where it goes. And just like I said,
what's your favorite part of the movie?
My favorite part?
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, I like that beginning sequence when that little golden caped Tilda goes against Mads Mikkelsen. He's always got the evil face, and then in the latter part of the movie, when Doctor Strange is injured,
and he keeps killing himself over and over again.
Oh, that was interesting. I forgot about that. He goes to his regular hospital where he had been working and has his girlfriend working on him. and what
He-
they're able to do, he
he astral
astral projects
projects.
himself, which means he pulls his like spiritual person out of his physical body, which is lying there, and it's very, very injured. He gets what does he get, stabbed or poked,
He gets stabbed,
stabbed, and his girlfriend has to.
and he has to fight another spirit.
Yeah,
Bad guy, too.
another guy who's been astral projected himself, one of the bad guys. Both astral projected people. They're like
Which
spirits.
that was cool. That was
fight
very
each other.
creative.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
My favorite part of the movie is when I wish that this would have been a little bit longer though, because I really liked when Mads Mikkelsen came into the London Sanctum, and they were fighting all over it, and he would just pick things up and not know what they are and throw them at him, and Mads Mikkelsen's like, you don't even know how to use that.
Yeah.
And then the cape comes and rescues him, and the cape helps him, and that was really, really cool.
That was very good. That was very interesting because you think, well, what is a relic? Well, you really don't even know what it means until, and he
Until
doesn't
the
either.
cape is used.
Until it, like I said, you don't pick the relic picked you, which means they have a whole room full of relics, and he's looking at them all, and that's when that's explained to him.
It's unfortunate that that pot thing got destroyed, because since that pot relic got destroyed, that means whichever person that relic was meant for won't have a relic.
Yeah, that's true. But and there was
Boom.
one really neat. I just remember. I don't think this got destroyed. When he was fighting Mads Mikkelsen, there was this like he was trying to go towards a
The suit,
sword
the
or
chain
something,
suit.
and the cape was pulling him towards something else, and it looked like it was a suit of chains, and so he couldn't get to where he wanted to go because the cape wouldn't let him. So he grabbed the thing that the cape wanted him to grab, and he threw it over to Mads, and it enveloped him everywhere. It was like a jail. It was like a self jail.
I wish that we would.
That
There's
was
one
really
thing.
cool.
I wish that they would have explained what the Cape of Leviathan is. Like, where exactly did it come from?
See, Marco
What
hears
are all
the
of its
things
powers?
are. I didn't even
'Cause
hear what it was called.
It's called the Cape of Leviathan.
So the red cape or that?
The Red Cape.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
And
So
of course, there's the Infinity Stone,
okay, well,
the
wait a
Time
minute.
Stone.
Uh, remember when I was talking about the orb from the galaxy of the Guardians, and there were two parts to the movie. The first part is the gang
The prison part.
getting together, and they're working to sell the orb, and it ends up they find out how important it is, and they want to save it and have it put somewhere so safe, so no bad people can have it. And in the second part of the movie, that's what that is. Finding out what the orb really is, and what it is, it has, remember I said, inside the orb is just like an egg, and it has a hollow part inside, and inside it's called an infinity stone. Remember I said that? Well, guess what? That infinity stone is in the Guardian, or the Doctor Strange,
No,
too.
it's not that Infinity Stone. It's a different one.
Well, it's a different one. It's related, right?
Yeah.
And what it is, at least in and it has to be just as important in the Guardians of the Galaxy, it contains a time spell which can reverse anything that happens except for a human being's death. You can't reverse that, but you can reverse anything else. So that's some powerful spell. So, and the other, just one more thing too, a relic, which is very important. In this movie, there are different worlds, and in order to travel from world to world, and you won't get stuck, it will help you get out. You have this gold, looks like a brass knuckle. And if you know what a brass knuckle is, it's something you put on your fist so you can hit somebody and make it really hurt. And it looks like a golden brass knuckle, and you put it on your hand, and you can wear it, and then you move, and it allows you to move from world to world. So, okay. So, do you want to review it, rate it, or do you want to talk about anything else?
Well, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I liked it. It was hard to hear, and
Do you like that guy that they cast for Baron Mordo? You think he was right for the part?
well, I'm not familiar with this. Wasn't familiar with the story ahead of time. I didn't like the fact. Uh, I don't know if I should say, but it doesn't matter. This movie's been on for a while. Um, Doctor Strange figures out who he should be and not this overinflated, egotistical jackass doctor. He ends up being more about helping other people, and he knows he has power, but he wants to use it for good and not to get expensive watches and drive expensive cars and strut around like he's God's gift to the universe. But anyway, so I don't know this guy. He got what happened was the golden caped girl, the ancient one, the supreme sorceress. She had these books, and they had chains on them. They were special, powerful books. They had spells in them, and they kept in a special section in their library. And remember at the beginning, Mads Mikkelsen tore out a couple of pages to use them for bad things. And so anyway, it apparently they find out that the sorceress was the only one who used these spells, and she wouldn't let anybody else, and it was kind of like selfish of her and all that. But I mean, so what? She was dead by that point. But that guy that Mark was talking about, he acted like it was a big problem for him, and he just walked away. And it was kind of like, how weird is that? And he was just it was so weird. It was like we were in high school or something, and his girlfriend just told him he was a dope, and he just walks away. And it wasn't a very good acting. I'm not sure what he would
It
do.
was horrible acting.
I'm just wondering if somebody was better actor, how would they have done it better?
I think it should have been somebody like Luke Evans, who looks the part, cause he or somebody with a lot more charisma and a lot stronger of a voice. Because Gerard Butler, he would have been a great Baron Mordo, and he would have. I mean, it would have been really interesting. Maybe he would have played it stronger, and it would have seemed stronger if he had been acting better. And it's unfortunate now that that's our Baron Mordo, because his character motivations don't make much sense. Wow, I'm mad because you're using power from the dark dimension. Wow, I mean that's boring.
I mean, and really, since it's so important, I guess the way he didn't act, or whatever, the power was kind of sucked out of his acting, sucked the effect of what
Yeah.
what happened. So it didn't, to me, it didn't even seem like, who cares? They're books with chains, and she used them. She's dead now, and if they use them, so what? Who cares?
Well, I also wonder, like, when people watch the movie, when I watched the movie, I didn't care anything about that character.
Yeah,
about
well, I
his
just thought he
character.
acted like a little brat.
I mean, he was like background person over there. I actually think that Wong was the better character, better supporting character. He was fantastic.
Yeah, Wong is the guy in charge of the library, and he's in charge of the
He's really funny.
universe that has Hong Kong, or whatever. What do you call it? The world, Hong Kong world. You have the London
The
World,
Sanctum,
Sanctum,
and he's
Hong Kong Sanctum.
and he doesn't laugh at anything except for a joke about magic.
Yeah, he plays a very strict, like, by the books person. Well, I guess he's a wizard too, and I think Doctor Strange, he really likes music a lot. He mentions all these. Oh, let's see,
Because
Beyonce.
he's mentioning people who have only one name as well.
Oh, and Drake and Rihanna.
And I
think.
can't wait to see more of him because he's gonna be in Infinity War, and if he doesn't die, then then maybe he'll be in all the other Doctor Strange movies. I hope so, because I'd like to see more of him instead of seeing miscast Mordo. That's what I'll call him. I won't call him Baron Mordo because he's nothing like Baron Mordo in appearance or in personality.
Okay, well, you want to rate the movie?
Yeah, I'd like to rate the movie first.
Okay, go ahead.
So I give the movie chicken enchiladas
Huh.
with lots of cheese and red sauce and avocado and more cheese on top of that. As well, I'd like to have a limeade drink.
Ooh, that limeade they had at Wendy's?
No,
That might be pretty good.
a good limeade.
We didn't try it.
So, and that's because when I think of this movie, I think of all the colors, and I think of the visuals and the colorful characters, the characters who go through transition, like the transitions of the flavors. You have all those different ingredients together at once. And also with the limeade, I would say that's for the ending, and that's for all the fight scenes and how spectacular and fulfilling they are. So that's my rating: chicken enchiladas and limeade.
Okay, well, I had a hard time rating this movie because the way we rate our movies are a little different from everybody else. But the deconstruction of the worlds and the chaos that ensued, I thought, oh wow, okay. I made beef stew, which I talked about when I rated Guardians of the Galaxy. You have all these parts to the stew, and together they make a nice dish. As a team, the Guardians make a team to protect the galaxy. And I thought, okay, well, this movie would be that covered up with a beautiful trout with almonds and butter sauce, and then you just get a flipper underneath it, a spatula, and you turn it all over and you throw it on the ground. That would be a mess, right? Would you eat that? I wouldn't.
Bernie would.
And if I rate it like that, you would think, oh, that means I think it's a bad movie. Well, no, I don't. It's just there was so much computer sequences of, they really deconstructed the world, the sky.
Destructed?
Well, look, it was
Destruction.
when they were in the Hong Kong world.
And then reconstruction.
It was destructed, and then it was reconstructed.
Destructed.
But anyway,
and restructured.
I thought, well, you look at Mads Mikkelsen and Benedict Cumberbatch. You've got one playing a superhero with this tall guy with this British voice.
Another thing that really takes away from the movie is that the villain, he's more of a villain to the Ancient One than to Doctor Strange. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has a beef with her.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange is basically just a guy who's in the way. So I think that's one issue.
Okay, well, what I think I would do was you have these two actors, and let's say as their parts in the movie, you have Mads Mikkelsen. I've never heard even who he plays. But he plays a horrible villain, of course, because he plays a great villain. He's just that kind of an actor.
Caecilius.
Now, see, I can't even think of what how to spell that. And then you have Benedict Cumberbatch. He's Doctor Strange. He's not Mr. Strange. He's Doctor Strange. And they have to take a break, right? So they sit down at the table in the timeout zone for, that's my made-up thing, for superheroes and villains who need to take a break and have a good meal of that nice trout with almonds of butter sauce and a red wine risotto and roasted vegetables. And they each have a glass of red wine too. And they clink their glasses together and each give each other a toast. That's what I rated it.
You know, it would be really funny. You know how in World War One they had the day where all the Christmas celebration where all the soldiers stopped fighting each other and they all ate Christmas dinner together.
Oh yeah.
Well, wouldn't it be funny if in the middle of Infinity War, Iron Man's just like, you know, guys, we've been fighting for a long time now. It's probably been about like 3 hours. And it would be really cool if we could all just sit down and have some stew.
Have a beer.
And then they all the heroes sit next to all the villains of the movie and they eat food. And then right afterwards they all get killed. All the heroes get massacred.
Oh, that's no good. I just think you could show them continuing to fight. And then you could actually make it a cliffhanger. And you see a few people get killed or get really injured.
The movie's already made.
Oh, I know, but you could... Well, that's too bad. Okay, well, anyway.
But that would be a good scene.
It comes out next week.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, so we're working towards that end.
We're watching Iron Man now.
Next will be Iron Man, the first one. And guess what? I have never seen any of the Iron Man movies. So.
Iron Man, the Avengers on Friday, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And then I'm going to do my Marvel rankings, where I'm going to do it very quickly, because I don't want to drag it out, because I really like to go into detail, but I will promise to be really quickly my Marvel rankings. So, look out for that.
Yep, and I'm going to review a new book by Anne Hillerman, called Cave of Bones. And then we were also thinking about watching that news show on Netflix and reviewing that. About Lost in Space, right? So,
yeah,
we're done now, and we will see you very soon.
To do Iron Man. Goodbye.
Bye.